Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Tom Spark and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be taking a look at Surfshark's response to my review of them. I think that's really cool they responded. Finally they responded. I've been reviewing this company for some years. They've never really reached out to me. I never really bothered with affiliating with them because they weren't ever high enough in my rankings. I think the company has improved their product over time. At first it was extremely buggy and not as good as pretty much every other site rated it. I think they do have some things they still need to work on, but I think their response and the review itself has been an improvement from the company's past kind of work they've done on the product. I think companies responding to my reviews is going to be really good for the channel. We saw ExpressVPN do it. If you guys haven't seen that video, check out that one as well. Private VPN also responded to their review, and I'm going to be making a video on that after this one. And now Surfshark's finally responded as well. Why are these responses from these VPN companies important? Well, sometimes they'll show me things that I didn't catch in my review, so it will end up as a more accurate representation of their product, a more accurate review, which is always helpful for you guys when you're deciding to choose which VPN that is the best VPN for your needs. I think it's also cool to give more credibility to the reviews. The fact that VPNs are now really seemingly concerned about their score in the tier list does add a certain amount of legitimacy to the tier list as well. VPN providers are starting to realize that if they put in the work, they give me good responses, they make their product better, they can move up the tier list, which is pretty unique from every other review system out there or reviewer, because most other reviewers have a set list of VPNs they want to promote, whether due to commissions or CPA deals, or they just don't update their reviews and rankings fast enough to keep things updated all the time like we're doing on the channel. We're keeping our reviews updated. We're doing these responses. I'm adding changes to the transparency report. We're updating scores all the time. My goal of making the tier list itself for VPNs was always to have a 100% reliable, consistent way to always see what the VPN you're looking at is at a current time. So no matter when you check the VPN tier list, it should be updated every week, completely accurate for the current scores of every VPN out there. And I think in 2021, we're coming closer to that objective more than ever before. So guys, now that we've kind of talked about that, let's talk about Surfshark's response to their review. Now guys, if you haven't already, go ahead and check out vpnturelesscom. This is kind of like the central hub of the channel where I list out all the resources for you guys to help you pick the best VPN service. Anyways guys, back to the video. One more thing, if you guys want to help support the channel, make sure to click on some of the links in the description or the comment down below. So one of the first things that Surfshark does is they actually apologize for me, saying like, hey, you know, we're sorry that no one from Surfshark has gotten in touch with you yet talking about your reviews. And I accept that apology. I mean, I think they could have reached out to me before and kind of talked to me about some of the stuff, but not a big deal. Surfshark first talks about pricing because that's one of my biggest criticisms of them. I don't really like their exclusive deals. I don't like their timers on their website, all these kind of marketing tactics to get you to buy a long-term subscription or to rush you through buying it during the sale process. It's not that consumer friendly in my opinion. It's more of like a business friendly thing. They obviously make more money having these tactics than the VPNs that don't, but I still think VPNs that don't do these kind of things, stuff like TorGuard, I mean, Molvat is a good example as well, even though it's not as high rated as some VPNs on the tier list. AirVPN, other VPNs that have more consumer-friendly pricing models, I think. Surfshark's saying that these kind of long-term commitments are the norm in the industry, and they have to keep up with market trends if they want to be competitive. They're saying that they commit to delivering a quality service throughout the whole period. Honestly, that response is just kind of like, well, kind of what I expected. Like I said, they're more concerned really about the bottom line of being competitive with other VPNs, not necessarily about having the best consumer practices. You know, they're saying they're delivering the same kind of consistency of product throughout the term, which is good. But still, I don't really think that changes my opinion on their pricing model too much. So the pricing score is going to stay the same. Next up, Surfshark had some thoughts based on my opinions about their Surfshark alert and search features. Privacy Beyond VPN bundle. It's kind of like extensions / add-ons you can get alongside Surfshark VPN. They're saying that Surfshark Alert is a different product from Have I Been Pwned. They said they used Have I Been Pwned API in the past to launch the version of the product they have. But now I guess they're saying that the alert system they have is more functional and also taking advantage of linked credit card and social security numbers. They're also saying that Surfshark has to pay for every private search query made by our users. And they're saying it's ad-free and doesn't save search history. So it's like a search engine, I guess, kind of thing, and grants anonymity in searches. So you guys can kind of make up your own opinion. I don't really think it really affects my opinion about those kind of things. Now, if this kind of stuff was included within the main product, I think it would be cooler. But the fact of charging for these kind of things, charging, I mean, for the searches, it makes sense, I guess, because I have to pay for those or whatever. But still, I would have been more impressed with these kind of features if they were bundled within the main package. Besides that, I don't know if it's really, it's not something I would really pay for, and not something that's part of my review process. So you kind of have to, I guess, make your own opinion on that. But yeah, probably the last point that Surfshark made in their response email is that they're saying they're trying to be more transparent, and they're trying to kind of change the way the company is about transparency, which is really good. Something I've been pushing for, and not really something any other reviewer has been pushing for, which is disappointing. They said initially when they started out in 2018, they were offering services in China, Iran, and stuff like that, and they decided to become more anonymous with their employees and stuff like that in order to protect the company itself. Again, the rationale behind this decision was also because other VPNs were doing it the same way at the time, probably stuff like ExpressVPN and NordVPN, which have always been kind of anonymous with telling you who owns the company and stuff about the management. Now they're saying that they've pulled out of some of these countries that are a little bit more dangerous. They're able to be more transparent with who owns the company. In fact, they're saying that the CEO, Vayutas Kazikonis, probably butchering that name, the CEO, updated his LinkedIn profile, and he's participating in more public panel discussions. And they also launched an about page, which I didn't actually see on the website. I'm actually happy to see that they put this on their website. ExpressVPN posted, some kind of talk with Tech Radar to show information about their company culture or the people who own it. I think Surfshark actually making an About Us page is a better step, in my opinion, towards transparency, towards who owns the company. They're also saying they're going to do an independent security audit and stuff like that. Now, all this sounds pretty good on paper. However, I still have a little bit of problems with Surfshark's transparency. Firstly, if you talk to the live chat agents, they won't really tell you who the CEO is. It seems like the transparent kind of nature that the company's trying to get hasn't really trickled down to every employee or the customer support. So like I said, if you talk to support agents, they probably won't tell you who the CEO is, which is problematic. Not only that, but if you look at the company's holding information, stuff like that, it still shows up as like a different CEO, some kind of lawyer that's like in charge of like the legal stuff, not necessarily the CEO, which I think is also a bit confusing. Additionally, I don't really like the excuse saying other VPNs are being anonymous and stuff like this with their management, so we decided to do the same thing. It's kind of the same thing with pricing. It doesn't make you unique in transparency if you're just following what other VPNs are doing. There's also were other VPNs at the time who were more open about who owns the company and stuff like that. So Surfshark could have easily followed the example of these companies as well, but they didn't. Additionally, I do kind of have opinions about VPNs that decide to hide their management in this way. I understand a company wanting to protect its employees and stuff like that. You don't have to post the developers and stuff like that necessarily on the main page, but I think the CEOs and the top level management should have always been posted in a transparent way on the company and on the website. There are other VPNs that have been more open about who owns the company. You could find the information easier, and some of these websites still don't have like about pages. So I do think Surfshark making an about page is really good, but I still think that they did kind of go to a certain extent to try to hide who owns the company, and I don't think it really provided that much of a benefit. Besides just, I don't know, I don't really buy the excuse that, we were hiding it because it was like dangerous for the CEO. I think the more likely thing is they were just decided they didn't really want people to know who owned the company, and they probably could get away with it since other companies were doing it as well. That's just kind of my opinion, though. I'm not really sure exactly why or what the benefit of doing this was, though, which is just kind of weird to me. In the end, Surfshark also talked a little bit how they were glad to see really good speed test results, and they think it can be attributed to WireGuard. They've also said that they've really expanded their network as well, which is a good thing to see. Apparently in December alone, they added around 500 new servers globally, which is nice. So guys, in summation, how does this change Surfshark's score? Well, I decided to raise the reputation up from a 0 because I didn't feel like the company wanted to be transparent to now a 3 out of 5, which is definitely an improvement, and it's pushed their score quite up a bit. It's now a 3.70, one of the topper VPNs in tier 2. I do still think they have some improvements to be made in terms of transparency, making sure it's kind of going throughout the whole company. I'm not a huge fan of, the past kind of policies on transparency, and my reviews kind of do input a certain amount of my opinion on how the company was in the past as well as it is today. It's not like it's just like a blank slate every year. You know, I do take into consideration what's happened in the past and how the company has kind of operated in the past. That said, overall, I think Surfshark is a decent product. They do need to make some improvements in the pricing area. You know, I'm not a fan of the marketing tactics they're using on their website in terms of pricing and stuff like that. So I don't think they're going to change that. So I don't see the pricing changing that much. The application has become more stable. It's fine, pretty good. Speeds have improved a lot. Reputation is still 3 out of 5, much better than 0 out of 5 though. Support is going to be 4 out of 5, not bad, although I did kind of see some customer complaints here and there. And Surfshark is a very divisive product, I've noticed. Some people really like it and some people hate it. So I kind of am taking that metric into consideration when looking at support scores and stuff like that. What people are saying about support, how they feel about the company and stuff like that is kind of an indication there. And they didn't really mention that Surfshark doesn't work with Hulu. So I don't know if it's the most reliable streaming option out there if you're looking for the best streaming VPN service. So yeah. Anyways, guys, those are some of my final thoughts about Surfshark VPN for 2021. It's definitely much improved than it was a couple years ago. Go ahead and click on the link down in the description down below, and I'll see you in the next video very soon.